In this video, we take a detailed look at a 5,000 kilogram MRL EcoDisc. You heard that correct. An MRL lift has a capacity of 5,000 kilograms. That is a crazily big capacity for a lift without a motor room, and you'd think it'd go really slow, but it actually goes 1 meter a second. How on earth can you lift 5,000 kilograms at a speed of 1 meter a second without a motor room? Well, let's go into how. So first, let's start ourselves off with reminding ourselves of the models of EcoDisc. So EcoDiscs in the MX range from about 2002 to about 2016, you had MX06, the base model, a bit cheap really. It goes 630 kilograms at 1 meter a second. Then you have MX10, which can go about 700 kilograms at 1.6 meter a second, or 1,000 kilograms at 1 meter a second. And the MX number gives you the number of kilograms it can lift in 2-to-1 configuration at 1 meter a second. So MX10, then you put times 100, so put 2 zeros on the end, and that gives you 1,000 because it can lift 1,000 kilograms at 1 meter a second. And that's how Kone's naming system works. So you then have the MX20, and as it's MX20, at 1 meter a second it lifts 2,000 kilograms, at 1.6 meter a second it lifts 1,600 kilograms, and at 2.5 meter a second it lifts 1,000 kilograms. And this used to be Kone's fastest MRL, 2.5 meters a second. But then about 2016 onwards, you then have the NMX series, or the new MX series, and there's a load of new motors that superseded the MX. So you have NMX07 superseding MX06 as the base model. Then you have NMX11, which supersedes MX10, which has 1,150 kilograms at 1 meter a second, or 800 kilograms at 1.75, not 1.6, 1.75 meters a second. So speed improvement and kilogram improvement, so very good. You then have the NMX14, then NMX18, and the fastest speeds are now 3 meters a second on an MRL. 3 meters a second. That is a good speed. But something that really bugged me about the NMX series. The biggest one they did is NMX18, when on the old MX series, the biggest one was MX20. Surely Kone hasn't reduced their capacity on their new series of lift. The new series is meant to improve everything. Well, there is another one, and that is the MX20 improved version. Interestingly, I didn't turn this into an NMX, and I think it's because the MX20 was simply a perfect design and I didn't need to improve it. And the improved version, what should I refer to it as? Because it now takes 2,500 kilograms, so it should be called the MX25. Anyway, in my videos I'm going to refer to it as the MX20 Plus, Kone's best MRL motor to date. So, to make sense of this new motor, let's take a look at Kone's MRL 4-to-1s. The MX10 has a 4-to-1 running at twice the capacity, half the speed, 2,000 kilograms at half a meter a second. This is the model I don't get the point of, because it does no better than what the MX20 could do in 2-to-1. I've done a separate video on this, click the link in the description to see it. Then let's move on to the old MX20. There's a 4-to-1 of this, again double capacity, half the speed, so 4,000 kilograms at half a meter a second. But this still doesn't explain how does the new MX20 then do 5,000 kilograms at 1 meter a second. That's a too big a jump. So then, I've just been trying to work out the numbers here because something just doesn't seem right. How on earth are they lifting 5,000 kilograms at 1 meter a second? It seems like they've done the impossible. Well, if we go back to the older generation MX20, notice on the 2,000 kilogram 1 meter a second model, doesn't 1 meter a second seem a bit low? Consider it's doing 1,600 at 1.6. Well, let's just take a look at this one in Poland, 2,000 kilogram MX20, and it's going about 1.3. So if that was 1.3, that would actually mean then the 4-to-1 version would be 4,000 kilograms at 0.65 rather than 0.5. Now we look at EcoDisc, let's just say I shoved in bigger windings and got a 30% power increase. You could get 4,000 kilograms about 0.9, 0.95 meters a second. So that answers it a bit. That's still not quite 5,000 kilograms. So the numbers still don't quite add up. Now I've been thinking about something that Mitsubishi said. Mitsubishi were talking about lifts that run faster when in balance than when not in balance. So what if they counterweighted the lift to run at a lower capacity at 1 meter a second, but then when it tries to get to full capacity, it goes in a special reduced mode and goes really slowly just for the max capacity? Because think about it, the lift's not going to go to full capacity very often. So that could be the answer, but the only way of testing it out is to fill the lift up to full capacity and see if it goes any slower. So let's start this video off by taking a ride in it.
Doors closing. Floor 0.
Now, if we take a look on top, the lift is very heavy duty. It is a very well built heavy lift. It is epic. But for 5,000 kilograms, is it epic enough? Although it's really well built, for something of 5,000 kilograms, I would have thought it would be even better built than it is, so, And let's take a look at the motor. And the motor is the best part, because it is epic. The improved MX-20 is even more epic than the regular MX-20. It makes an amazing sound, and as is in the new era, it's got the NMX VF drives rather than the old VF drives for the regular MX-20, so it makes that really nice NMX sound. Unlike the NMXs, it still has the MX clunk and sounds epic. One last thing, how is the weight suspended? Because usually on an EcoDisc, the weight is suspended down the lift tracks. All of the weight hangs off the motor and then the track on the other side, and it all just simply goes down the lift track. And that's been my one criticism of EcoDiscs. It seems really weird. But 5,000 kilograms, how are you going to support that on just tracks? That seems weird. Thing on the motor side, notice this big beam going across, because usually on EcoDiscs, on the motor side, you only suspend half of the lift's capacity plus the entire counterweight. But that would weigh far too much for a lift track. So on this big beam, it goes across the lift's track on the motor side and the two counterweight tracks. And for 4:1 wheel for the counterweight, the ending of the cables for a counterweight and the ending of the cables for the double underslung lift all finish on this beam, meaning all this weight is being shared between 3 tracks rather than 1 track, and that's how I've done it. Very interesting. And now, let's surf it.
First floor. Doors opening. Going down. Doors closing. Door 0. Doors opening. First floor. Doors opening. Going down. Doors closing. Floor 0. Doors opening. Going up, doors closing. Doors opening. Going down, doors closing. Doors opening. Going down.
更了解感受。